Happy fucking Wednesday. We are back again with the vocalist from Breathe In. How you doing tonight, dude?
Hey, how's it going? Doing good. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I actually found you guys on YouTube
Oh,
because we
nice.
actually we have a little other show that we do from time to time that we do music videos. So I spent a lot of time looking for, bands I've never heard of or never seen on YouTube, and we ran across your song Fallujah and fucking played it, and it was absolutely fucking phenomenal. And
Thank
I'm
you.
just like, where the fuck have these guys been? This band is dope as shit. And we had a lot of fucking people hit us up afterwards and was like, this band is amazing. You gotta fucking bring them on. It's like, well, yeah, fucking of course we're gonna try to fucking bring them on. So I gotta hand it to you. For those of you that are watching, all you know that we always play a music video from the band. So please stick around towards the end because we are gonna play the music video for Fallujah, so you guys can do that. And in the meantime, make sure you're going to all their social media accounts, hit that fucking follow button, buy some goddamn merch, do the whole fucking 9 yards. So, getting
100%.
into it, at what point in your life did you decide you want to be a musician? Was it a band? Was it a family member? Like, what was that one pivotal point that made you decide that you wanted to be a musician?
Honestly, my kindergarten graduation. Uh,
Yeah, we go way
yeah.
back.
Okay.
I I realized I could sing while we were singing, one of those typical songs that you would sing, and I was like, oh, I sound good. I like this. I want to do this, and I've never looked back. Believe it or not, I thought I was going to be an R&B artist initially. So
Okay.
following artists like Usher and the stuff for like the '90s and the 2000 era. And my musical taste kind of evolved. I think a lot of people with like Linkin Park and new metal and Collision Course and some of the early stuff from Korn and Disturbed and all those other bands kind of like were super formative for me. Non-Point as well too, POD, and that was kind of like my shift into like kind of the rock and like metal world. Definitely like Chester from Linkin Park was a huge vocal influence, and that was like my middle school to high school years up until 16. And then I got into Japanese rock and metal. And I'm like, wait, there are folks who sound like this and look like anime characters and put on these awesome shows and are coming out of floating caskets and shit and like look badass but also look pretty. I'm like, yeah, I want to do that. That's what I'm gonna do.
Okay.
uh and obviously I still listen to a bunch of stuff and I'm constantly influenced by music. I'm greedy, voracious, one might say, and different artists from all over the world, especially now with like modern rock and metal, like has influenced us to the point of myself as a vocalist, an artist, and a composer, and how we present ourselves and how I add on to the breathe in sound. So yeah, long-winded answer, but I hope that helps.
Hey, that's perfect. That's perfect. All right, Corey, you're up on deck, brother.
If you had to describe your sound to somebody that never heard you before, what would you describe it?
I would say I think it's both elegant and aggressive at the same time. It's,
Oh,
you know, big, it's loud. Um, you know, I also think that a part of music, there is a not only just a sound aspect, but a visual nature to it. And we want to make it feel like whenever you're in those tracks, you're not just listening to the song, you're feeling those moments. And that's a part of the reason why, I go to Sephora's and, put on makeup and stuff like that and get my hair braided and pick these outfits like and curate them and the contacts and all that stuff because it's more than just a song. You're taking a moment and experience and we're bringing everyone into that.
Okay, so I'm going to go into that before I let CB get into his question. How important to you, or do you think that it is to have the whole entire look? Because some bands are not big on the theatrics and the looks and the outfits and stuff like that. They just go out there. So, do you think that being theatrical is important to the band, or is it something that you could just toss to the side?
Oh, I think it's integral. Here's the thing: anybody can get up on the stage, stand still, play a song. It's cool. Maybe they're really, really good at their parts, but you don't pay $50 or $60 or whatever you're gonna pay to watch someone stand there, unless it's like some, I don't know, neoclassical something and like it's an orchestral sort of situation. I think in live music, the bands that really capture people are the ones that are making it a show. And beyond that, I don't write songs, and I don't, and I would say this for the entire band too. We don't write music for the sake of it just sounds cool. It's just like no, we want it so that we've written it in a way that the way it feels is the way it's going to be performed. I particularly think the truest version of myself is the version you see in the videos, when I am wearing those outfits, when I am wearing the contacts, where I have this dramatic look. Because everything else I do outside of that is in service to those moments where we get to kind of express ourselves in that real way.
Okay, okay, I agree with you. I'm big on theatrical bands. I mean, my own band is very theatrical, and I grew up loving those theatrical bands because I was a big fan of like Marilyn Manson was one of my huge influences in my music growing up, and people like Slipknot and Mudvayne back when they wore the fucking makeup and all that shit. Like, I don't know why, but they set a different tone for me. It was different. Like
Yeah,
anytime I went to a show with the theatrical band, I felt like I was like waiting in line at Walt Disney World to go into some badass fucking ride. And I was so goddamn excited to see this band and see the whole performance as a
yeah.
whole.
And let me add on to that because it's important for me. It's a little unique in a way. The whole aspect of the glam side of it actually came from my love for Japanese rock and metal, specifically Visual K. If any of you guys are listening, you already know what I'm talking about, like bands like Deer and Gray, The Gazette, Lunacy. To make it even easier, my favorite artist from that scene is called Gakt, Gakt. If you played Final Fantasy, if you know what Cloud looks like, or Sephiroth, or Titus from 10, basically their facial likeness were based off of the way this man looks or at the time. And even like some of the video games actually feature his music and then some. So, huge influence. And it opened up this world where not only there was just a look to it, but also the writing kind of combined so many different elements that at the time you wouldn't really see a lot of Western bands combining, like, and I think it's interesting. A lot of what modern rock and metal are doing, like, Spirit Box or Bad Omens, and I love Bad Omens. It's a different conversation.
Yeah.
Look, I was an early adopter. Like everyone's like, oh, I banged with Bad Omens. I'm like, no, you didn't. I was there 2016. I was there when they were doing the small shows in New York, and they had to walk their drums through the crowd and whatnot. And I still like wear my signed shirt when like they were opening for Lacuna Coil and like all these other bands before Just Pretend blew up. But sorry, going on a rant, but
No, you go. I'm a huge. I almost wore my Bad Omen shirt
yo,
tonight.
same. I was thinking about it. I'm just like, there's not enough flair, even though it's like the one with like the Sasuke drop, where like you see the
Yeah.
little thing in the front and then the back. So okay, so we're brothers of the same
Yeah. Yes,
same
we
fam.
are. Absolutely. Yeah, I came this close to doing it because I just seen Bad Omens just like 2 months ago at Welcome to Rockville, and they were
Nice.
fucking amazing. They're an amazing band to see live, and
Y-
I'm so glad that they've got to the height that they've gotten because they deserve it.
1000%. And man, I don't want this to become the Bad Omens like glossing interview hour, but like I I look, even certain things too. Like I'll give you an example how we shot the Fallujah video, which might, kind of jumping the gun here. Some of those scenes were actually influenced by some of the shots that were taken from in their music video for Limits. I actually reach out every so often to the guy who films a lot of their stuff, Ori, who also does Spirit Box's music videos and a bunch of other of those bands. And like I look at the behind the scenes stuff and like some of the interviews and techniques that he's used, like loose lensing, or the fact that like that one scene in Limits where it looks like they're gliding in, the dude is on a skateboard while they're holding a glide cam to achieve that effect. And that's some of what we actually used in the music video in a way, with a glide cam for those circling effects to kind of get that.
Okay. All right. CB, you up on deck, brother?
All right. So, what is the craziest thing that you've seen at a show of your own?
You already got him laughing, so that's gonna be good.
Does it have to be a breathing show?
No.
Okay, a show of my own. Jesus, I have played so many fucking shows. Uh, oh Jesus Christ! It's hard. It's really hard to fucking think about when you've done so many shows. Fuck. Sorry, excuse my French.
No, you can cuss. We're good. We're on an independent station. You can cuss your ass off.
I'm trying to think because like I've toured in Japan. We had little bit of stint in Canada with some of my other projects. Webster Hall. That's God. I gotta be honest. That's so hard.
The fuck.
If you've got
Jesus.
more, if you got more than one, you're welcome to share them all if you want.
God damn it. Wow, it's funny. I don't really think about shows on. I can, this wasn't crazy, but I do. It's a fond memory. So one of my last shows I did a show was at Aurora before joining Breathe In. We did it at this cool Irish pub in the middle of Midtown Manhattan. They didn't know what the fuck they were going to expect. They just see a three-piece. They don't really hear anything like that. At some point, I'm shirtless, and it's this super Irish bartender, like super duper Irish. By the middle of this set, she's fucking blown away. She's like, "What the fuck am I watching right now? This shit is amazing. Like, I thought this was gonna be a slow night. Like, yo, you can have all the drinks, like, no, and my number." And like she was
Nice.
very adamant about flirting, and she's like, "I'm very serious about this." And then, mind you, I think was I dating somebody at the time? No, I was not. But like, it's just so I'm sorry, it's crazy. The thing is, honestly speaking, we keep a pretty good crowd in our group. Like a lot of bands will have like, the shiesty shit happening, or hey, someone's trying to screw someone after the show. Our crew is
Right.
pretty wholesome. Like, don't get me wrong. Have I been like, in my one of my older bands, totally like banned from like a hotel, near Times Square because we had a wild party where there were things happening in the room, all consensually, and like it just kind of got loud and like, hey, we know you're having a good time, but everybody else don't want to hear that. Sure, but it's. I think it's more of the activities around and outside of it than the actual shows. Most people are too captivated to do anything stupid.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right, Daff, you're up.
All right, so what is your routine that you do every night or every time you go up to play a show?
So it's a process. So I've been using two things. One is this AA approach. I use it on Udemy. This guy named Arsenio, he's a vocal teacher. I paid like $100 for this kind of lesson like years ago, and I go through it, and it's a great way to warm up. And even though it's not like distorted vocals, those fundamentals in terms of clean vocals, near variety, and stretching your range do have an impact in what you're able to do, and even when you're attacking the distorted stuff. And then as of recently, I'll follow that up, and I do have the YouTube channel here. There's another YouTube person that I follow, and he's great. You probably know the name. I'm just so terrible at like remembering it, but I follow his kind of vocal instructions on like distorted vocals, and like his warm up routine. And I'll give you the name in 1 second. And that has been like, those have been my go tos. And then I abstain from drinking, like maybe a couple days prior to a show. And then, of course, working out. I do like on average within a week, thinking like 2 hours of cardio collectively, and I'd like say about like maybe hour and a half, about 6 to 7 hours of weightlifting throughout the week. And all of it is integral. And then I think last thing is one of my close friends who's also in the band actually owns a karaoke bar. So it's a great way to kind of practice. But all of that encompasses kind of like my routine to prepare for shows.
Awesome.
Excellent. Excellent.
Right.
So, if you had your choice to tour with any three bands, who would you choose to tour with?
Oh, well, Bad Omens is going to be one of them right off the bat. Easy peasy. I would love to tour with Gakt, my favorite artist of all time. And again, I will give you recommendations so that you can see what I'm talking about. Because like this isn't fluff. Like, dude's just great. A little crazy, but I think that's a lot of artists are like that in their age.
Yeah.
And then, oh man, the last one. I'm greedy, so that sucks. I would say the Gazette. another Japanese band, heavily influential. It's I learned a lot of guitar playing and song structure um, from Aoi, their rhythm guitarist. It's really really cool. If you took like sleaze rock, and like you mixed in like a bunch of like modern metal as well too, but then like some like R&B nuances. It's just such a cool fucking mash. So those would be the bands I'd want to play with.
Excellent. All right, Corey, you're up on deck, brother.
How would you just define success for yourself or the band in the music industry?
Well, I think that's a interesting question because that has changed in a lot of ways. Before the idea was, hey, you're a household name, you're playing these stadium shows, this and that. But as we well know, now that the curtain, for the most part, is been pulled more and more away from the scene, it's not just about like playing shows anymore or putting out a song. It's about the other things, merchandise. It's about sustainability, being able to travel. It's about sometimes brand deals that make you those residual things. Like I think one of the best examples of that is Periphery, who like, I think Misha Mansour recently went on and was just like, hey, I like the idea that I can do this now and it doesn't feel like a job. And before it used to, and that kind of sucked and was taking me away. But now they've got Get Good Drums. They've got like, some of the other plugins that they do as well too. So I think for us, success would be just getting to a point where we can do this comfortably in terms of finances because we put, what little we have, because we're all working day jobs into this. And it's not like, oh, and like sort of like a blase fair way. Everything is meticulously calculated. We have like, goals and whatnot. We have band meetings, every week, so to be able to get to a point where we can just focus our energy primarily on this and it's sustainable and we can pay our bills, great. Obviously, we want more than that. I think our sound is greater than just being comfortable. I want world domination, but ethically and, in a way where I want people to want to be a part of that ride. Um, so I think that's kind of like what success will look like for us in the long term.
Oh, yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. All right, Daft, you're up on deck.
All right. So, what is okay? I lost my question there. It was here and it was gone.
It happens.
It
I'm
does.
sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. Let's see. What is your number one non-music related inspiration?
Oh yeah. Oh, that's easy. I feel like they kind of go hand in hand, but like uh, video games and like anime. I think like sci-fi culture, just all that kind of like, I guess
Ooh.
fiction kind of stuff. Biggest influences. I think like most people don't understand just how beautiful like some composers are in games. They'll hear a thing and be like, oh, I like kind of like that, or it was good ambiance. I go and I download the whole like ost, and then I find out who like was the composer and I look at their other stuff too. I like the idea that each time I'm walking into a world through sound. Like I can't paint or draw to save my life, but what I can do is build a world through little things like the subtleness of leaves rustling right before a song starts, or a swelling guitar that's emphasizing tension before you get to like a big payoff in terms of a breakdown. So yeah, that kind of stuff, because sound is so important in fiction. At least the things you can watch, they set the tone. Like if I don't know, like somebody dropped like a huge thing on a character, you're gonna hear some violins or something sharp, and you feel that, not just seeing it. So yeah.
I like that.
Excellent. Excellent. All right, CB, you up on deck, brother?
All right. So, what is the one thing that just really ticks you off when going to a show?
Oh
Laugh.
God, I wouldn't say I'm a prima donna about shows. I mean, like I think my thing is, yeah, this probably will do it for me. I'm all about moshing. I'm all about depending on the level of the intensity of the show, will dictate certain decorum. But like, yo, there's some folks who are just there to be like, yo, I got something to prove. I'm like, why? Why, bro? Why not have just a good time? I remember I had went to a local hardcore show and was dating this girl, like super tiny, like 5'2", like super thin, super cute. And like, we're staying on the rim. We know the thing, like, stay back, if you don't want to get in, you want to get closer, move in. And this dude is just menacingly just windmilling and kicking as if he's like fucking trying to home in on a target. Cracks her in the middle of her fucking glasses and the shit splits. And I'm just like, we are not even halfway through the entire show yet. Um, Another time I was actually seeing Vela Maya, and one of the openers for it was actually a friend of mine's band. If you're familiar with Justin Wang and the band Jinx, um, or Tales of the from the Internet, he has that YouTube channel and he's pretty well known. But we're waiting, and this one kid's just doing the most in a semi-empty room because no one was there at the moment. I was like, this looks crazy. I took 2 steps back. 30 seconds later, someone stood exactly where I was stood, and then immediately got knocked out and put on a stretcher by that exact same kid.
Ooh.
So
I
yeah,
I'm all good. I'm all good with the old school like push pits. Circle pit, push pit, fine. But that damn fucking goddamn looking like you're fucking Liu Kang from fucking Mortal Kombat is fucking ridiculous. Like I hate that fucking shit. Because like I would say, so I went whenever I was at Welcome to Rockville, we decided to go see ICP.
nice.
So cool, whatever. Never seen them. I wanted to get the experience. Am I an ICP fan? Not really. But
Mhm,
I
mhm.
heard about their live shows and I wanted to experience it for myself just to have the experience. So we fucking went. So we go. There's this dude behind me that's just like fucking acting like it's a goddamn hardcore beatdown fucking band. Dude, it's fucking hip hop. Like, really? And he's like punching girls and like
Yo,
throwing them around. And he starts like hitting me in the rib cage. And I turned around, I was like, one more time. One more goddamn time. He did it. I turned around and headbutted the fuck out of that son of a bitch.
nice.
Of course, he was drunk as fuck. And that leads into my pet peeve. Motherfuckers that are too goddamn intoxicated. That shit is ridiculous. Like, there is no reason to go out there. Now, yeah, have drinks, have a good time, be loose, get in the fucking pit, have a good time. But to go out there and get completely fucking sandblasted, annihilated, where you're hurting people, hurting yourself, puking all over the place, there is no need for that.
I feel you, but the other thing for me is I've worked in bar field spaces from nightlife to fine dining for 7 years, and like I think I'm immune to people too being drunk.
Well, yeah, you would be.
Like I'll give you a story, and it's the first one that pops up in my head. And who knows, maybe this guy will see it. So I remember I was working at this video game bar lounge called OS NYC. Cool spot. I was the head bartender there. This guy walks in, never been there before. He's a talker, like a talker. And he's like just giving me his whole life story and whatnot. And he's just like, yeah, man, I just met my mom, for the first time, in the hospital, my birth mom, because we were separated. And then she was just like, she was like sick. And then he's just like, yeah, she told me that she named me Donatello because that was her favorite Ninja Turtle and all this stuff. And he's really spewing it. And I'm like, cool, this is cool. So then he has his tab open, right? So we have his card behind the bar. He disappears for like an hour or two. He comes back and I was like, hey, where'd you go? He's like, oh, I went like 2 blocks over to a rub and tug and I got a 2-for-1 deal. And I was just like, yo, why are you telling me this? Why would you tell anyone this? Like, how did we get here? Like, so when you're getting bombarded with stories and like things like you want to talk about crazy shit that I have seen at bars. I've seen a dude in a full nightclub where like people are putting their like dirty like half drinking or done drinks all over the table so the bar can clean up. This dude was just walking around like, I'll take a little sip of this, a little sip of that, and we're like, what the fuck are you doing?
No.
Get out! Like that.
Hold on. He was drinking other people's drinks?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Like you want crazy stories? My friend's bar, I was literally the karaoke bar. I was literally walking in one day, like to the bathroom, and I saw this guy who I guess he couldn't wait, and man was about like peeing it out, ready to just start peeing in the corner haphazardly. And I go, "Hey, buddy, what do you think you're doing there?" And it's like, yeah, no. Actually, open this door. See, look at that. It's another bathroom. Make sure it lands in the right place. Like bars will will humble you about the depravity of man.
I got a bar for you. If you ever want to come play down south, I have a bar for you, just a bar for you that you'll have one hell of an experience playing. And CB sitting there shaking his head because he knows, because we were just there 2 weeks ago for a show.
Look, don't threaten me with a good
the
time.
reason this place it's in Savannah, Georgia, and it's called the Wormhole. And it's
Right.
called the Wormhole for a reason.
Yes, it is.
I'll leave it at that.
Wait. One last bar story. The separate band. This is actually my first band solo I do. So this is when we were touring Canada for this big anime convention. And I love telling this story because it's just crazy. So we're going in and we're glammed up. You know what I mean? Like today, I just got out the gym. You know, because I go to work, go to the gym, shower, so I'm not gross. So you're not none of the frills today or anything like that. So take it in while you can. But. So we're glammed up, gussied up, and face beat. We're dressed and we're walking around because it's one of our off days. We end up going to this bar and we go to the rooftop area, and so then we see this woman kind of like leaned over the bar, and she's kind of drunk, and like she's just leaned over and like has her ass like like that, and there's a guy like is on like who's like on her ass like almost like she's just like standing there. I'm assuming they're dating. And so we go to the bar. It's like, hey, how's it? Go to get a drink. And this lady stops. She's just like, oh my god, and like, and walks up to me and my guitarist. And at the time, both of our hair was kind of like long, like this. So she just starts feeling up our hair. And we're like, oh, okay. Don't get me wrong. We're very single and we're down for a good time. We're on tour. And then she's like, oh, by the way, this is my friend. And then she points to the very drunk friend at the bar who's like got her ass on this dude's crotch. He's like, this is Fuckface. And then the friend goes, hi, my name is Fuckface. And we're like, yo, what is happening, bro? What is happening? And so then, a little later, we're talking to the guy who's just like, who she's got her ass on his crotch, and because he's like away for a second, and he's like, yeah, I guess that's your girlfriend. Like, you guys on vacation? He's like, I don't know this woman. I didn't get here too much longer either. The night ended uneventful, but I just thought that was just a funny anecdote to share.
Hey, we love the fucking stories. It's just like we had a story not too long ago. We did a band, Salamander X from Atlanta. Well, they ended up playing The Gathering of the Juggalos.
God.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
God.
And decided to tell this story about how they did a talent show on one of the stages. Well, the girl that won proceeded to shove a 2-liter bottle of Faygo up her ass.
Why?
And then spew it out over the crowd.
I feel like that needs to be behind a paywall. Like,
I agree. I was like, see, this is why I'm afraid of going to the Gathering of the Juggalos. As much as I'm like, I'm halfway tempted to go, and I am curious. The stories I've heard, because we've interviewed a lot of bands that have played it, and we've heard the horror stories, and there's lots of them, and I'm just like, I don't know if I want to. I feel like I don't know. I'm curious, but I'm not at the same time.
I feel like I can only imagine how many dudes were caught cheating because look, the makeup is still there.
Absolutely. So, getting into it, if you could spend 24 hours with any musical icon, dead or alive, who would you spend that time with?
Still gonna be Gakt, G-A-C-K-T. Still to this day, like a powerful influence as an artist to me. I'm still in awe of the things that this man does. Not just because look, if I would give you a story, he's a singer. He's a guitarist. He's a violinist. He's a classic pianist. He's a classically trained composer, martial artist, horseback riding, actor. He was actually in a movie Bunraku with the dude who plays did a lot of what do you call it? The fuck is the Hellboy? The main series of movies. The first one in like the Golden Army. Forget the actor's name. But yeah. I think, yes, that's the gentleman's name. But he's done so much, and like even though his and like video games and shit, I'm like cool, and it's like I've read his biography translated twice, and the dude's still alive and still doing zany, wacky shit, but also making dope music.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. All right, Corey, you're up, brother.
How would you describe your songwriting process?
For for the band, it's interesting. So especially because of the fact that prior to joining Breathe In, I was doing the Show Aurora stuff for about 8 years. And that was after leaving the band that Solar Door, which is where I learned how to bite my teeth at like writing songs, becoming a good singer, what it was like to really go through the grind of what it means to tour and be an artist. And I also was with Dope Bang, and we were developing our sound. And our process was, uh, we use Guitar Pro. I'm pretty sure y'all familiar with it, and we tab out everything, especially like vocal notes and like all of the vocal melodies. Like my philosophy is like I want to make sure before a single note is played or like voiced, we all know what it sounds like, so that whenever we practice, it's perfect. And that also like I wrote out of my own skill level of singing so that I could be better, and so because I had like something to look at. And so we brought a lot of that into the breathing process, which more so at least, and come from my soul if I'm wrong, guys, but like a lot of it's just more like Brian and the others would like come up with demos, and I actually would track them, and as opposed to this tablature process that we've gone through. And we still kind of do a bit of that back and forth, where like we've adopted it in certain ways, and like uh Dopeng is really good at taking like some of the ideas like or the songs that we will put out and tabbing it out, because it's so easier for me as a writer, at least for the vocal side and melodies, to do the sheet music, even if we have like a demo that was created, um, you know, just by Brian just recording parts. And it's just how my brain works and how I can kind of focus the noise and know where to kind of jump in and out. And then from there, like once we kind of like gone back and forth, because our writing styles are very different. I think Brian and I think like I love that grand sort of flowery sort of like choose your own adventure kind of sound, where he's like loves these like powerful riffs and like big explosive solos and like that. And so finding that balance in between has been an interesting conversation to say the least. And it hasn't been perfect. We've definitely been frustrated with each other, but a lot of it has been just like we're speaking different languages, and we're figuring out how do we find that bridge. And a lot of the times it's just kind of taking a step back and like, hey, this is why this is like that, because this is why that's like, oh, okay, well, this is why this is like that. And we've been able to find that commonality. And I think the best part about it too is it enhances, you know, our writing from both ends of the stick. Even like Fallujah, for example, I was sitting on that song for I think 3 to 5 years prior to Breathe In, and it definitely changed quite a bit. And a lot of that was discussions and efforts like, oh, I'm not sure about this. But after being able to kind of relinquish it and really see what someone else has to bring to the table, it flourished into 10 times better of a song than I ever imagined it would be. So yeah.
Excellent, excellent. All right, Daff, you're up.
I've heard you mention it a couple different times with the video games. What is one game that you would put your music into? If you can
Final
put it into
Fantasy.
anything. Oh,
Final
He
Fantasy.
is that shit
Fantasy.
fast.
quick.
Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
That's,
So-
that's
so-
probably one of the most popular answers is Final Fantasy.
Which Final Fantasy?
So
Ooh.
past one, so I'm gonna say Dirge of Cerberus, which was the one that I discovered Goct, because it was cool too. Like they were playing they were actually promoting it heavily in the US, and the song Redemption, was the one that was playing on the television, in Japanese. And I'm like, yo, this song is badass. And then I see the music and I'm like, oh, the guy looks like the guy. Like, oh my God, this is cool. Like, what? So yeah, no, Dirge of Cerberus, Final Fantasy VII. My stack, I'm gonna throw in a random second one. Uh, yeah, I think, yeah. Oh, no, second one, Guilty Gear. Guilty Gear, any of the Guilty Gears. Guilty Gear Strive, XR, throw it in there. I don't know if you played Guilty Gear. You don't even need to play it. The music is phenomenal. The guy who like actually designed the game, the developer, is also like into like super technical thrash metal, and he writes all the songs and he sings on some of them too with a full band, and it's like just badass.
Okay, fair enough.
That's
fair
cool.
enough. All right,
Yeah.
Stevie.
All right, who is your hero?
I think I got two. Chester from Linkin Park and then Gocht. Those are my two heroes. And it very much influences how I've operated through the world as an artist and as a person. So, keep mentioning them for good reason.
Exactly. So, well, let's get into the good shit.
hmm
What is the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to you playing a show?
Oh man. Oh man. Okay. Oh man, I'm about to throw this dude under the bus.
We love doing that on this show.
Oh shit. I'm about to throw this dude under the bus. Yeah. Okay. I'm just gonna give you full context. So, first band, Solar Door, we were touring in this part of, I think, upstate New York. It was a small, like super local, small, like spot, very small town kind of situation. And the thing is, look, we're flamboyant, we're wearing makeup. Holy shit, did I not turn my fucking work car? Oh, I paused. Sorry. Okay, cool. I didn't turn my workout tracker off. Anyway, so, and the thing is, look, certain areas, maybe turn on the glam for safety reasons. Mine, this is like 15, 20 years ago. We're people of color as well too, and a predominantly white town, and it's very red state. You guys kind of get the idea. So we have this guy Misha, who was our bassist, right at the time, and I love him. We're friends now, but there are moments where I wanted to kill that man. Like I remember at one point we were in the middle of like a practice, and he said to me, oh, I was saying, hey, bro, you're not playing the bass parts right. And he was just like, oh, well, I'll play my bass parts right when you sing your notes exactly right. And I'm like, yo, what? And I was like, I'm going to kill this guy. Because he didn't write any of the songs. And I'm just like, no. And he's like, no, don't do it. So, setting the thing. Misha, very flamboyant dude. Time and place. He decides to take drugs and drink. And then is extremely touchy-feely on my guitarist in this very suburban conservative town. Like sitting by his leg, wrapped up, and my guitarist's like, yo, what the fuck are you doing, bro? Like we're in a basement. They could murder. Like, we don't know what's happening. So before he took drugs, oh, you think I should mix my medicine with liquor? I was like, no, that's a bad idea. Don't fucking do that. Does it anyway. We start playing the show, right? And our kind of sort of guitarist at the time was recording it on film, and he's just all over the place. And I'm all about perfection. Put on a good show wherever you go. That shit matters. At one point, he trips on air. Like, he's just in the middle of playing, screams and just falls out. And then we're like, what the fuck happened? So by the end of it, we're super embarrassed because we had traveled God knows how long to fucking do this, And then we're like, yeah, we're going to kick him the fuck out of the band. We couldn't even make the trip to get back. So we go to McDonald's, and then we're sitting there, and then we're just like, yeah, bro, you're out the band. There's no way we're doing this. He's like, oh, it wasn't that bad. And then my dude with the video is like, nah, I got it on tape. You want to see?
That's bad. That's bad.
Yeah, like the other stuff is just like I'm rarely embarrassed about things, but I'm very like I get embarrassed when we don't perform well, and it's a bad representation of the work that we put in, and it was just cartoonish levels. So yeah, I think that's a pretty good story.
Hey, at least you didn't have a member shit themselves on stage.
See, there's levels to that. I feel like you have to create an environment where their sphincter feels so comfortable, which might be a good thing. It might be a safe space for fecal matter to run free in that band. But I don't understand. Like, if you're really in it, like, I think you're clinched up. Like, I've never been like, do a guttural and it's just real loose. It's just like, nah, everything's pretty packed.
Well, unfortunately for us, it was this thing called gas station sushi.
What? You deserve that. You deserve that.
No,
You fucking deserve that.
I've told the story a million times. I'll tell it again. So I was playing for this band. We were on tour, and we had a blowout. Well, I was the only motherfucker in the whole band that knew how to change a tire.
Oh, I thought you meant the blowout was shitting the stage, but
No, well that is it gets worse. So I tell all the guys, I said, "Well, go get us food. I'll fix the tire. Whatever. We're about 45 minutes away from our hotel, and we had to play that night." So they go and they get food. Well, we're in this big section where it's a gas station, but there's lots of restaurants around, and there was a sushi place right next door, not fucking 200 feet from the gas station. So I assumed they went to the actual sushi place. Well, they brought back all this sushi. So we're eating it. By the time we get to the hotel, one guy's on the toilet, one guy's shitting in the sink, one guy's shitting in the bathtub, and two guys are shitting in fucking flower pots out on the goddamn balcony.
God.
We're all sick as a fucking dog. I mean, quick. Well, luckily, most of us had all taken Pepto-Bismol and did everything we could to be okay. Most of us, were we feeling 100%? No. But we were able to play. So our drummer is fucking playing. We're about 3/4 away through the set. And all of a sudden, I fucking hear in the inner ear monitor, he's like, "Yo, I just shit myself." And we turned, he did. He was sitting playing drums and straight up shit himself. We're talking shit rolling down the legs, pure fucking liquid. We had to get one of our roadies to bring up hefty bags and put hefty bags underneath him. When he was getting on stage, he had to waddle with a hefty bag.
Yo, and that kick drum is flying, and so's the poop. Oh, God. Oh,
yeah,
God,
they had to get up there. They had to clean the whole thing, mop the whole thing before. And we played right before the headliner. Like, we were the direct opening act to the headliner.
You guys are really going for that brown noise, huh? Yeah,
I see. We did.
I think they hit the right note.
Well, look, you guys were the filthiest band the entire set. Like, you know, y'all know.
Absolutely. All right, Corey, you're up, brother.
What are your feelings about the current state of the music industry?
It's interesting. It depends in what sector you're talking about. Like, now we're more than ever connected because of the internet. So like, and I love the idea, like for me, like a lot of like, again, the Japanese bands, I had to know the resources, you know, import a lot of stuff or just know certain channels. And it's interesting, especially with TikTok, that now it's a lot more accessible and there are new fans coming in. As well as like just the now artists don't necessarily need to spend a crazy amount to like go into a physical studio to do what they need to. Like a lot of what we do is we record at home and then we work with an engineer, David Andronico, which is crazy. He does a bunch of film shit. Like if you watch the new X-Men 97, he did the new intro. If you watch like the trailer for Lilo and Stitch or Mario vs. Sonic, a bunch of random shit, like the Friends anniversary reunion commercial, that was him. You know, we work with him and like send him the stems and he does all the mixing and shit. But to that end, my other issue is we deal with oversaturation. Like, I don't want to fucking hear the same band, you know, the same shredding part or 1,000 breakdowns 1,000 times over with nothing else to show for it. I get the idea that everyone wants to express themselves, but at the same time, especially in like a major tri-state area like New York and Jersey, you know, it's already expensive to do anything. A lot of these business owners, you know, for the sake of it, they're gonna just do a lot of pay to play. Like on average, every time you do a show out here, you've got to like, you got to hit this minimum in sales and then you're going to make a percentage. And I get it. But then when you're dealing with a bunch of, you know, would-be's who aren't really taking the time to do the craft, and I get it, you got to bite your teeth, you got to fail, but like fail upwards, not just stay in this little pocket and just be happy you're doing it. It makes the conversation of being an artist a little hard. Because how many times have you all guys been like, oh, I make music, and then you have some like, okay, that's nice, and then you have to show them, and you're like, oh, this is actually good. Like, holy crap, like, oh, you're serious. That is a conversation I have all the fucking time, you know? You know, even for me, especially like, you know, because I'm Black, like, it's just like, if somebody hears me and then doesn't see me, they're like, I would have never thought it to you. I've gotten that a lot too, and I'm like, comes with the territory, all right, you know? But, so that makes it kind of hard. Obviously, labels, you know, one way or another suck. I mean, like, not all of them. I mean, it's just kind of just the nature of the biz. It's now to the point where you kind of have to build yourself. So, before they even take an interest, now that TikTok and stuff like that. And I think that's, again, that makes it hard because, like, now I have to do this extra step. Like, for example, I can get on a stage and tear it up. That is my comfort zone. That is like, my throne. Getting in front of a camera and be like, hey guys, how's it going? Blah 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 on YouTube and all that shit feel makes my skin crawl. And it's a part of what the game is. Like for my YouTube channel, for example, just Mia Shola Aurora, I haven't uploaded in a while and I've got some stuff. I actually have a short cover of Just Pretend by Bad Omens that I haven't put out yet. Uh and I'm gonna record that, just the video side of it, but it's just been getting the time to, like, gussy up, sit in front of the thing and mime it. And it's just, I'd rather just be in front of people playing. But unfortunately, this is the way that you kind of, not kind of, because not everyone does it, but it's one of the easier ways. Also, doing a ton of covers too. I don't want to have to do a ton of covers, and I'm not saying I don't want to do the work, but you get what I mean. Like, we write really cool stuff, and if you got 20, 30 local bands, stuff like that, banging on you to be like, come to my show, come do this, and like, out of them 4 are good, but that the resources, especially now, are tight. You're trying to get people to come out when there's so many things going on. It makes it tough. I'd love when one of those eureka moments where somebody is like, oh shit, I need this. I need these guys. And like, great, not only are we good, but we're also like organized and we have all the assets you need. We can't really bank on that. So, it's in some ways I'm really excited. In some ways I can see the commoditization of it all. Even now that we're being concerned about AI bans that are being thrown on fucking like streaming platforms and getting 1 million fucking like views and or streams and shit like that. Yeah, it's tough, but at the same time, that's kind of just been the nature of art in general. It will innovate, and we need to innovate with it.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right, Daff, you're up.
So, what is your favorite venue to play at?
I think for me, because I don't recycle venues at least too often in the city. Like, I'm always like, I want my shows to be an experience. And obviously, Breathe In, we're still like we haven't done too many shows because we've been more focused on, hey, you can play 1,000 shows in the world, but like, if you're playing to the same people, it's not helping the band growth. And we want to have reach outside. So we're more focused as of right now on just single releases and things of that nature. But at least talk of my experience. In my first band, Webster Hall was a goal. It's one of the most legendary, well-known, iconic venues in New York City. A lot of legends have played there. You name it, they've probably been there too. And starting out, we started on the lower level. Then we went to the medium level, and then to be able to see my band's name on the awning as one of the co-headliners was like one of my goals in life. Because you know what they say, you can't conquer the world if you can't conquer your city. So yeah, I'd love to play Webster Hall again, with this new act. I think like it was cool. It's nice. It'd be dope to bring this band there as well and add to that legendary status.
Excellent. All right, CB, you're up.
All right, so if you could give advice to an upcoming band or new band or some friends of yours, what would that advice be?
I would say, enjoy the process, but respect it as well too. The act of being in a band isn't just 5 people gathering. It can be if you want it for that. But if you want it to be something more, then you need to put in the effort and work for it to be something more. And what does that look like? 1, knowing your strengths and knowing your weaknesses. I can't do everything. Lord knows I tried at one point. But over time, I learned the things that I love and the things that I'm great at in the band and in the products I've had. And I've also learned to like lean on others in the band who are better at certain things than I will ever be, and allocating. And that makes us stronger, more of an effective unit. Having, a game plan about where you want to be and how do you get that, where it's just like, oh, I want to play shows. It's like, cool. Where do you want to play? How are you going to get people out there? Do you have a set list? Do you have your equipment ready? Do you know what the venue space is like? How are you gonna promote it? You know what I mean? Like, how are you gonna travel there? All of those logistics and then some, all matter, and a lot of people don't know or realize that, but that's why a part of that research is. And even from the songwriting, I think, take that seriously too. If you want to be a cover band or just a band to just do it, that's fine. Do that. And then do like just a rinky dink, don't give a shit. But if you want something that's actually going to be like credible, then yeah, it's going to be a little fucking harder. So yeah, like study, learn what the back end of the recording style side of it is. Because I swear, like most people don't realize just how much of the magic comes from the engineer and how your tracks are mixed. Because you could sound fucking great, if your mix sounds like it was in a tin fucking can, no one's gonna fucking hear you, and it's gonna be a poor representation of ultimately where you want to be. So all of that encompasses it, and all of that takes just learning the craft, learning your strengths, knowing what you like, learning the strengths of others, and working together to kind of achieve that goal.
Excellent, excellent. All right, Corey, you're up, bro.
Who would you say has been like that rock in your life that has helped support you through your musical career and helped you get to where you are today?
I think it's gonna be two people. Artemis is my old guitarist, one of my best friends. In a way, a mentor. He taught me how to write music. Um, Fucking nailed me to the wall in terms of being a good vocalist and pushed me. I remember back in the day when I first started out and I was just like hiding behind like an effects pedal for vocals that had all this different shit. And he's just like, yeah, no, this is too much. Like, just get good by yourself. And like, even like distortion vocals, I never wanted to fucking do fucking like growls and, all that shit. But he started writing songs like, yeah, nah, do this thing. Like, you got this. And then I didn't get it until I didn't get it until I started getting it until I started getting it and then I got it and then I got better and better. And so like we've constantly still pushed each other and like bounce off ideas, and like he really set the tone. He taught me and Dopang and others how to be musicians. And I'll be forever grateful. That dude is a brother to me. And then the other person, is a gentleman named Felix. He's in the band Skyver. He's also on YouTube, Skyver TV, or in Skyver the Killer. He did really good, multifaceted vocalist, guitarist, keyboardist, composer, bassist. He does it all. Um, a lot of some of the song stuff, especially when things got harder and it was hard to afford, he was there to support me in every way, not just as a friend but also as a recording artist too, as a mixer as well. And whenever even to this day, whenever I'm like feeling less than, I will get like a message from him and he'd be like, boy, you better shut up and stop being stop pretending like you're not talented out here, and it's great. And like we talk damn near every day, these same people. And then also Dopang. Honestly, like I don't think I would be here without him, because when I left the first band, you know, all the writing, really the majority of it was between him and I, and he's like the huge brains. I think I'm the feels, he's the technicality, and we learned an unwritten language together over 8 years. And he, even when it didn't make sense, even when it didn't seem like I was going anywhere, stuck with me, and also invigorated his love for music, and that has translated into us joining Breathe In and being able to take those skills we got to build together in that language and share it with other people and like grow. And it's like it's been cool. So I think that those trifecta of people really, really, really have made me the artist I am today.
Excellent, excellent. So as we're nearing the end, is there anything that you would like to push or plug with your band Breathe In?
Oh, absolutely. So if some of you guys have seen it because you've seen the streams prior, but we have our single Fallujah out now on all streaming platforms, including YouTube as well. We put in a lot of work with the music video. Fun fact, the drummer Paul was the one who actually helped shoot the music video and plan it out. So when he wasn't drumming, he was behind a camera. uh, so yeah, like I said, splitting the work and tapping into our talents. The other thing is, for all you local folks, we do have a show coming up. It's a local show in Brooklyn at this place called The Rabbit Hole on August 2nd. Tickets are now out. You can find it via our link tree or any of our social medias. Also, like, follow us. Don't if you're on streaming services, follow the band, Breathe In, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. It's honestly the easiest way for you to kind of keep up with what we're doing. We're all pretty busy. I got to be honest, I'm terrible at posting about band stuff. I got to be reminded, but it's because, when you live in these areas outside of trying to fund the band, we still have life. And then finally, drop some merch. We had some models, some dope models, recently modeled them. They're looking great, exquisite. We got a limited run, so, come get them while you can. If you want them signed, just let us know in the notes. We'll ship it. At least in the U.S. If it's going to be outside the U.S., then that might be, we'll figure it out. But the merch was all designed and hand drawn by our drummer as well, too. So,
Ooh.
yeah.
Excellent.
So it's all in house. But yeah, that stuff directly supports us. It allows us to do more of the things. Obviously, we're self funded. And like every cent of merch goes right back into rentals from the music video or production costs. Like literally one of the things that slowed me down for years was the fact that I ran what was a 5-piece by 2 and like trying to afford it. But now we're all putting in everything that we have, even when life is as turbulent as it has been in some ways. So that little bit helps a lot. And you get to be a part of history, and I want you to look back and be like, damn, I knew them before I could have been there. I'm like, don't be that person. Lock in now.
Exactly. So on that, we have ran out of time. For those of you that are still watching, please don't go anywhere because we are going to play the music video for Fallujah. On that, you know what we say. Please be kind to each other. Don't drink and drive. And for the love of the gods and goddesses, please wrap your fucking tool. And on that, we're getting the fuck out of here. Here's the music for Fallujah, and we will see you again on Monday.
Good night,
Yeah,
everyone.
bye, folks.
Bye, y'all.